Hello, Mystic Travelers. Today we're going to let the Oracle just flow, just intuitively tell us what we need. Woo, and it is ready to talk, isn't it? Okay. Let's see what else we have going for us. Okay, I'm getting the feeling kind of, oh, look at that. Yep. Feeling kind of trapped, like you don't have your own personal space. You might be in a situation where you feel like you don't get enough free time to yourself. See how all these eggs are crowded. It probably has a lot to do with your home life, maybe not having any personal space at home. Maybe you are living in a space where you feel kind of stuck in a single room, something like that. And you're looking to find a situation that aligns more with how you feel inside. So you may like social situations, you may like being around other people, but you might need some time to go inward into your quiet space. And that's how you protect your peace, protect your silence. That's how you protect your freedom. Moonlight rest, restoration, softness, cycles. Even the moon takes nights off. If you've been saying yes to a lot of social obligations, or if you've been saying yes to a lot of things when you really wanted to say no, then this might be your sign to take some time to rest, protect your energy. Only give it when you have excess, after your cup is already full. Yeah, this is causing a lot of tension inside you. Like you're feeling sometimes like you want to cry. I mean, look at that wailing tree, reconciliations. So for some of you, you may be connected to people who kind of drain your energy. And, in a practical sense, you need to find a way to, if you can get into your own space, that's great, but not everybody has that option, right? So how can you make the space you have more sacred? I've talked to people before who were grown-ups and, were living with their parents or something, and their parents would just barge into their space. There's a time when you can set your own limits, your own rules around your personal space. For everything, a season. And it can be really discouraging if you're in this kind of situation where maybe you have to live with others, but you really want your independence. Or a lot of times it's because maybe you have kids, and so you feel like it can be really hard to put limitations on your own personal time and space. But just remember that you can't give from an empty cup, right? So make sure you're doing those small things to self-care on a day-to-day basis. That means something different for everybody. To some people, it means, taking a bath, or I do something as simple as like use little face masks just because it makes me feel like I'm doing something special for me, because I am, right? Yeah. This chasm in you, right? It feels like it's almost uncrossable, especially if there's another person in the situation that you're struggling to maybe exert your autonomy with. Because a lot of other people, they might have your best interest at heart in their minds, but really only you know what is best for you at the end of the day, right? So as you're moving forward in this energy, kind of gaining freedom, a lot of it is like, what does freedom look like to you? Is freedom an internal, or is it an external experience for you? Okay? If right now freedom is an external experience only, in the sense of like you're waiting for validation externally, or you're waiting for the exact right situation to align, then you might be feeling like you need to be extra defensive, or you might feel extremely tired, like you're not getting the rest you need, or that you're breaking apart inside, breaking apart. And so to cross this chasm, you need to, and remember, I work in archetypes and Jungian symbolism and how to speak to directly to your subconscious. So a lot of times uncovering these things will speak directly to your subconscious, and you'll notice things starting to change in your life just by hearing messages like this. And so, find little ways where you can exert your autonomy, your sovereignty, and your inner freedom, and start transforming your life from the inside out. And that can look like anything from setting up a nightly ritual, to setting boundaries with people who come into your space, to, changing your viewpoint, kind of hangman style, seeing it from a new perspective so that you can focus on what's actually going to help you. Obstacle, overcoming a blockage in your path. Okay, so for a lot of you, this probably does have to do with living with somebody else who might not respect your boundaries, or being in communication with someone who doesn't necessarily respect your boundaries. And that's actually one of the hardest places to be, because when people don't respect your boundaries, you can feel like exerting your boundary is a crime, or like exerting your boundary is going to cause conflict. And it could, right? That's the difficult thing is, asserting your boundary can cause conflict, but that's not actually on you, is it? If your boundary is healthy, and I know that a lot of people are dealing with unreasonable people. That's just the way of the world. Not everybody respects boundaries. But if you're working from this place of love in your heart, love for yourself, respect for yourself, inner freedom, inner autonomy, inner sovereignty, then your heart can overflow. Then you can, for those of you who overcommit to obligations, you can give time and space for yourself, because the egg also, it's like fragility, but it's also cleansing, right? People use eggs in order to do cleansings on the body. And so that cleansing energy inside you will start reflecting in your external world. And it starts with really figuring out who you really are, who you want to be, and then start living that way. Okay? Now, this is kind of manifestation-ish stuff, but it's also just psychology, right? So whatever you focus on becomes special to you. So once again, if you had broken up with somebody and you're focusing on them constantly, then they're still the center of your world, even if you haven't talked to them in months, right? They become the center of your inner world. So refocusing your thoughts on yourself. We're told a lot of times in our culture that that's selfish. We're not saying, neglect other people under your care. We're not saying, be mean to other people. But we're often trained that holding a healthy boundary for ourselves is mean, and it is not. That's where true freedom and protection lies. And this protection card is here for a reason. In order to get the rest you need, the freedom you want, not to feel so crowded anymore, not to feel so fragile anymore. You want to keep your vulnerability, but your fragility. You are so strong. All that stuff belongs inside, only to be exposed to those people who deserve it, who've proven that they deserve that. So, for everything, a season. It is your season to get some rest, to bubble your boundaries, to find freedom, okay? And this starts practically inside. And you can start it by just, there's like in manifestation, like Neville Goddard and things like that. You start it by identifying with the feeling that you want to have. So if that feeling is life is wonderful, life is peaceful, you want to start repeating that to yourself. You can do affirmations if you want, but honestly, the universe, your subconscious mind wants what's best for you. It's just that it's full of programs that have to be cleared out. So in order to reach that freedom, you've got to clear those programs. And that starts with feeling like you want to feel. Okay, so obviously get whatever help you need, whatever it takes. You can't just cure this with will alone, but it has to do with repetition and practice. Okay, so when your mind is most vulnerable, before you're falling asleep or right after you wake up, repeat to yourself, my life is wonderful. I am sovereign. Anything like that that's like a big overarching idea, right? Because if you hone in too tightly on specifics, then a lot of times you close yourself off to greater possibilities. So it's not that you can't have specific goals and dreams, especially around your space and your freedom, but, allow the universe to do the work without you interfering. St. John of the Cross calls this the dark night of the soul, which is where you are blinded to the work that you're doing in your subconscious mind, or the work that the universe or the higher source is doing for you, so that you won't sabotage it. Okay? So these boundaries, this rest time, this maybe saying no more often, is your way of overcoming these blockages, right? And you can even say to yourself, I dissolve all blockages. I dissolve all blockages. My life is wonderful. But it's really important that when you're doing this in the morning and at night, that you feel it as well. You feel it. And you'll notice over time it starts transforming your inner landscape from one of scarcity to an inner landscape of abundance. So that no matter the external circumstances, because external circumstances, a lot of times we worry a lot about external circumstances because they can seriously mess your life up, right? I'm not spiritual bypassing here. Outer circumstances happen and all that, but they're going to happen anyway. The only control we have is how we respond to them. So for a lot of you, you're in a situation where you might feel kind of trapped. So the idea is to liberate yourself internally. And you can do it by doing the exercise I said. You can also do it there's an exercise that has helped me a ton, which is I spend time just observing my emotions, like just letting them run their course in my body. And it's weird because they roil and they tumble, and it feels like almost like an entity moving around in my chest or something. Emotions, they have a life of their own. And I just observe them. I pretend there's like a barrier around my neck between my head and my body. And I just feel the emotions in my body, and I let them play out how they want without attaching a story to them. Okay? And when you do this, you will find that at first it might hurt really bad, or you might be almost desperate to grab a story. But over time, you're able to let go more and more and just observe. And then when these strong emotions happen spontaneously, of these emotions of defeat, of sadness, of that you don't have sovereignty, these kinds of feelings. So the feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, when they come up, you can say, oh, that's just a feeling. A feeling doesn't equal reality. But if I attach a story to it and I relive it and reloop it over and over and over again, then suddenly the story becomes my reality, because it's all I'm telling myself. Like, if you only watched the same TV show your entire life, you would probably start mimicking the mannerisms of the characters and things like that, right? So whatever you're repeating to yourself becomes how you see the world, your perception, and what you believe. Okay, so thank you for being here, Mystic Travelers. I'm going to try to do this maybe once a week, just kind of a free form oracle reading, just to see what's going to come through for you. So thank you for being here. And please, if this resonated for you, drop a comment below and tell me how you free yourself internally and regain your inner sovereignty, because it could really help other people, because the idea isn't that there's one way that's right for everybody, but if we share all the different ways that we do it, then something's going to resonate with someone else. So, and that's what we're here for, to help people become their own gurus. You don't need an external guru. You are everything you need. We're just here to be mirrors for each other. Okay, I'll see you next week.